This is my life with albinism.
Now, this is my life with albinism.
And this is my life with albinism.
All right. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Life with Albinism podcast. We have a super special guest today. I'm your host, Dale.
And I'm Avery.
All right. And we have, I can't even, this man, you might have seen him on the DC television series Black Lightning. You might also know him from the hip hop industry, from creating songs with Snoop Dogg, Exhibit, Dr. Dre. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, man. Let the people know your name and where they can follow you.
My name is Marvin Jones III. My name, people know me in the hip hop world as Krondon, Krondon. And actually, all my social media handles are at Krondon, KRO. And I wanted to change them, to be honest, but
why?
Well, that that's just because that name and moniker is something that represents just one side of my life.
Okay,
just
the hip hop side.
And Marvin Jones III is another side of my life that I'm currently living in, just because of film and television.
Okay.
But honestly, to be perfectly honest, people know both now. Things have kind of merged. So Marvin Jones III, Krondon, whatever you want to call me is just call me.
So now, you wouldn't believe where I first seen you at in terms of in the media. Take a guess.
I don't know, brother. Like some hip hop magazine, or like I don't know.
Yo, the first time I ever seen you was on Smack DVD.
Shout out my man Smack. Y'all from New York. So. Yeah.
Do you even remember that? That was like 05.
No, bro, you got to know. Smack, first of all, that's my man.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny. And what's interesting, brother? I have to say this to you guys. Well, first of all, at that point in my career, I had been doing it for a little while and really started to make my group, Strong Arm Steady, and myself, we had really started to make a lot of noise, right, nationally and internationally. In that era, when you saw that, you guys know, being from New York, that Smack was the biggest thing. Like, we had Rap City, and I think Yo MTV Rap was still around too. But but when you talk about street DVDs, that was before the internet, right? That was the actual internet. I consider that street DVDs were the internet before the internet. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Smack was the biggest and the best. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, and it was a real big, goal of ours as a collective to be one of the first West Coast groups or West Coast entities on that, because it was primarily East Coast driven.
Right, because it was actually you and Exhibit.
Me and Exhibit and the whole Strong Arm Steady. And
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we were all on there at the same time. And the funny thing is that much like how you guys, did me the honor of flying all the way here to have this interview from New York City, Smack flew here from New York City to film with us. Yeah.
Wow.
So he was on the West Coast with us for like about a week, and we hung out. And like, I don't know if you remember, we went to the gun range.
Yep, I remember. I ain't want to say that. I ain't want to say that part, but I do remember that that's where y'all was at.
It's documented, so everybody looks it up, they don't see that. So, shout out to Smack. So that's interesting. That's the first time, because that was, honestly, at that time, one thing that we knew, being from the West Coast, and how things at that time, again, pre-internet, was so regional with hip hop, right? Still was regional, until you went mainstream or something like that, right? Or we had the privilege of being on Yo MTV Raps and Rap City and all that. So, we gained, national notoriety and international notoriety through that channel. But really coming up from the underground, Smack was a lot of people on the East Coast's first introduction to us. Oh,
for sure.
To me. So that's dope.
So were you into battling at that time?
Not really battling. Like, our thing, that culture it wasn't as big on the West as it was on the East.
Okay.
We were definitely into, I guess you could call it a form of battling because we would do it, at actual shows or on the radio, mix show radio, when that's when mix show radio was still big.
okay.
You had like the Wake Up Show and stuff like that. So we would do it, on mix show radio if we came to, Funk Master Flex at that time, or if we came to who was a K Slade.
Mm-hmm. Been on the Breakfast Club.
Premiere was just having this radio show too at that time. Yeah, we would take that form of performance when it came to rhyming, but we weren't the cats in a circle, big.
Oh, the ciphers.
Nah, we did, but it wasn't the same.
Okay,
like it became energy. It was a real culture on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? With cats like Loaded Lux and Murder Mook and all of that.
Yeah.
If you really know that era, it was a big thing. So and I think Smack was primarily responsible for it. That's why if you think about it, he went on to do actual battles, more commercially and all that. I mean,
now it's huge. Like they're almost at like Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, it's huge now. It's huge now. But it was huge when it was in the street too. That's the thing.
It was.
It was huge when it was in the street.
Changed a little bit.
But the venue just got bigger. And got more formal and things like that.
Yeah.
So but we weren't that into it like that. Not like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But we just was trying to be the best, and on all fronts, the best.
So now, speaking of music, I have to ask you, why don't you have a song with Brother Ali yet? Seriously,
that's so funny. I say it's so funny because if people really know, that's really my brother. That's like me and him have a great relationship, personal relationship, have for years, and a deep love and mutual respect for each other. Haven't talked to him in quite a few months, but we always check in and ask how each other is doing and how our families are doing. And when he's in town, we do see each other. And I've actually, I want to say I performed with him before. Just, he might have brought me out at a time. But no, I think at the time too, like our hip hop, as you guys know, because you guys are fans of hip hop. Hip hop is a genre that has an infinite number of subgenres within it, right?
Yes.
Even now, it's consistent in that. So I just think for a long time, our music was so different that I never thought of it that way, or us to work together.
Okay.
But also just knowing him and me and him knowing myself, we just had a mutual love and respect for each other. I think he's extremely talented, and he's given me those same flowers. So it's not, it's funny because we've talked about it endlessly. We talked about doing a project together. Actually, we have a.
And I was gonna say that too. Like
we've talked about all that. We've talked about project together. We actually titled the project like with the group of people.
So what's the holdup? Why? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Funny thing. It's just so funny, man. When we were talking about that seriously, and it was like actually the time, because what happened was, after my group, stopped putting albums out, not being together. We'll always be together, but just putting music out. I put out some solo projects, and the music that I was making evolution happened a little bit for me, and it was seemingly a better time for us to do something like that.
Okay.
And then my acting career kind of took off. Brother.
Right. So
and that's just being honest with you. Like when we were really talking about that seriously, and even kind of like putting, the thoughts into fruition a little bit, my acting like took off. So, yeah.
So now, speaking of the acting, that kind of leads us to the next question. So, do you feel as though your albinism has hurt or helped your acting and music career?
Let me say this. I don't think that albinism has hurt anything in my life. I would have said, when I was younger and a little more naive, right?
Yeah.
And a little ignorant to what having albinism really meant for me, right? And then when I didn't have the relationship that I have with God that I have now, I would have said that, But at this point, what I think that anything done in excellence is excellence.
Right, makes sense.
No matter what you look like, where you come from, what you believe, who you love, like none of those things, I think, hinder you if you are rooted in excellence.
Right. Now here's why I asked that, right?
Okay.
Because for me, growing up with albinism, I feel like our look made some people not take us quite so serious. Now, what I mean by that is this. When I was growing up, I feel like I could have said anything and people would be like, you don't look like you can do that. Like if I told people, yo, I rap, they would say, you don't look like you can rap. I could have said anything. I could have said I skateboard, and they would have been like, you don't look like you know how to skateboard.
Right.
So you didn't get that effect. And then also with like the acting was like, I feel like sometimes, because you don't see a lot of people with albinism in the media, right? You don't see a lot of people with albinism in movies and television, but I'm sure that they're out there trying to make it. So it makes me feel like there's got to be times where these directors who are responsible for picking roles might look at somebody with albinism and say, he just looks a little too different for, his look is just a little too different or stands out a little too much for this role.
Well, I'm sure directors and producers and writers say that about all people. And that's like if you say somebody, might be too overweight for the role.
I was just thinking that.
Right.
I was just thinking that.
Or somebody might be too tall.
Yeah, it's
might be
certain
short.
look that they go for.
There's a certain look that they go for.
Yeah.
Right. But then at the same time, if that person that is too tall, too short, or maybe a little overweight, right? If they are excellent in the role, right? Then what happens is the writer, the director, the producer is now seeing it from a different angle,
overlooks
based
all
off
that.
the work,
Right, the talent.
I really truly believe this, brother, and that is that what God has for you is for you. No one can interrupt, derail, dismantle, or discourage the plans of God. It's just what it is. Now, when you said something that was interesting, you said, I always felt like if I was to do anything, right, then people would say, right?
Yeah.
So do you know what that tells me, Dale? That those weren't the right people. Right? Because not everyone would say that.
Right. Not everyone. Right. Not
everyone could say that. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was, it makes me pose the question, who told you that? Right? Now,
is that a true friend or
not? Now, who told you that? And the person that told you that, did they matter enough for you to listen to them? That's the decision that you make.
Right.
Not them.
Right.
Because everybody that does anything great was told they couldn't do it.
You speak volumes.
Yeah. No, and it's true. It's true because
volumes when you speak, man. I'm listening to you and I'm like, yo, your words are so powerful. Have you ever heard that?
I have heard that.
It's very
I appreciate
true,
that, and it's not me. It's the God within me. It's not me, but it is the truth. See, the truth is the truth, no matter where it's told or who tells it. Notice what I said. No matter where it's told or who tells it. So if you are, like we say in the streets, the truth at what you do, it's the truth. You can't, I've booked roles, brother, some that were made for the likeness and the image, and a lot that were not.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
They were just the truth.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, let me say this before you continue. Let me just say this. Now, in the world, there's going to always be people who see things from their perspective.
Right.
Right. And that's what you're talking about.
Right. Their perspective.
You're talking about someone's perspective on what they want to see. We can't control that. Right? All we can control is the level of excellence that we convey at what it is we do. If you wanted to be a skateboarder, if you were the best skateboarder, you would get just as much sponsorship and just as much airtime and just as much as somebody who looked like
if not
however.
more.
If not more, exactly.
And that's one thing I tell people is like, if somebody without, like, there was a joke I used to say, right, where it was like, because people with albinism always get mistaken to look like someone else with albinism, right?
Yeah.
Like, people tell me all the time, I look like you,
right?
Which we kind of do resemble each other.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I don't get mad at that, right? Because I understand that once you put the same the same hair color, the same skin color, and glasses on two different individuals, they're going to resemble each
But
other.
brother, know this. They say that about black people.
Yeah,
But that's
They say that,
ignorance,
but,
though.
but what's the difference? See,
everything,
now
though.
what's the difference, though? They say that about Asian people.
Yeah.
They say that about
Yeah.
Latin
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Right.
They say that about
Right.
Indian people. See, what I don't want us to do, brother,
Mhm.
is think that we are experiencing something different from anybody else.
Mm.
That's where we make the mistake.
Mhm.
That's where we do more disservice to ourselves, thinking that we're singled out. You understand?
Right.
We do look alike because our features are similar.
Right.
Me and this brother don't look alike.
Yeah.
Right? Now we got similar hair color,
Yeah.
skin tone,
Yeah.
but they
beard
say
color.
that you see what I'm saying? But that's two different things. So notice they said that about black people.
Yeah, they
Mm.
do.
They say that about white people.
Mhm.
They say that about everybody, race and
is
creed, that they all look alike. And you were right in that, in saying that it's rooted in ignorance. So the same person that says all black people look alike,
Yeah.
all people with albinism look alike, it's the same ignorance. See, it's the same disservice that they are serving to mankind. It's not particular to us. You understand? We have things that are particular to us,
Right.
but they're not that even particular to us. White folks can't sit in the sun all day.
Very true. Very true.
Right.
That's not particular to us.
Mhm.
Right.
That we don't serve that kind of God. We weren't created from that kind of God. To say, oh, well, I'm going to give one to something that I don't give to the other.
Mhm.
Right.
We're all made in his image.
Right.
All of us. Black, white, yellow, red. Right? So there's more similarities than there are differences.
Mhm.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's based off of how we see ourselves.
Mhm.
That's what's most important.
Right.
They're gonna say you can't to everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody that's great has heard you can't.
You can't do it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Everyone's
And what made them great is if they listened or not. That's what makes them great. You understand? So I think that one thing that I had to learn, being a black man with albinism, right?
Mhm.
Well, first of all, let's be clear about that, right? Let's say we are three black men with albinism,
right.
Sure.
right? But there's white people with albinism.
Yeah.
There's Asian people with albinism.
Mhm.
There's Mexican people with albinism, right?
Mm.
There's Indian people with albinism. There's Filipino people with albinism.
Mhm.
There's I've
Every
seen
race, Mexican.
there's every animal has albinism.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every plant has albinism.
Mhm.
Every living thing
Yes.
that
Anything
holds
living can have
genealogy of any kind has albinism.
Mm.
What does that tell you?
We're different.
No,
albinism. No. I
that's
think-
true.
I think
What
it
does
tells
it really
you that
tell you?
it tells you that albinism is universal.
One, and that God intentionally put that into everything.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
So that's the one clear understanding for me, that we all come from the same God.
Yeah.
As much as we want to say, well, that person is that, they're
Mhm.
different, and that person is different, and that one thing we all have in common, right, is the recessive gene that creates albinism.
Mhm.
That's how we know we come from one God. That's one sure fact. So if that's the case, then in truth, albinism represents a more universal concept
Mhm.
than any one individual,
Right.
right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm sure on your podcast you've had people with albinism from all
Oh, yeah.
races.
Yeah,
and all, right?
all races.
So
We even had a Chinese guy with albinism.
So see what I'm saying? So that doesn't say that we are more singled out than most. No. That says that we are more inclusive than any.
You
Very true.
You kind of tricking me with that because I'm like, when you say singled out, right? Do you mean in the literal sense?
I mean in the literal sense. I mean like when you say, well, anything, because you started the conversation with, if I said I was going to do anything, people would say that you can't.
Yeah.
Right. Or they would say you don't look like
you don't
could do
look
that.
like.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But in truth, how we look or how I look, right, is more universal than individual.
Okay.
I see, because albinism is everywhere. As a
what
matter
I'm
of fact, you know what? I just thought of it as you said that. You just stated that albinism is in every plant. It's in every animal, humans. That's interesting because it's not like that with anything else.
That's
like
what
there's
I'm saying.
like there's no black or white plant, but there are there are albino plants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same thing with animals, right? You would never characterize a particular animal as black, white, Asian, or something like that. But there is albinism.
And you might give them that coin based off where they come from in the region.
Right.
Say, oh,
like
this is from
this animal is the kangaroo is from Australia.
Yeah, or something like that.
Right. But you would never say that kangaroo is a white Australian.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
No.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because what we do have that's more universal than any other category is that we are in everything from plants to all of animals.
And if we're in everything, brother, then that tells me that I could do anything.
Very true.
And I could be anything. I could be with anything.
Yeah.
Right? I could go anywhere in the world and somebody got a cousin that I remind them of.
Yeah. Yep. That's everywhere.
And that happens a lot.
A lot. To me. Him,
Does that happen to you where people mistake you for someone else?
All the time.
Really?
Still currently. That still happens.
That's just but that doesn't know that happens to everybody.
Well, no, all right.
Well,
listen.
Like when you say that, being that you are up there in the stat, they'll see you first and they'll be like, oh wait, that's Krondon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
but then like brother said, I'm sure there's some times where people thought that you were me.
Yo, one time I was on the
See
bus.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
I gotta hold on. I gotta say this. One time I was on the bus and the dude comes up to me, no lie, and he's like, "Yo, you look just like the guy on Black Lightning."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I hear that a
I
lot."
heard that too.
He's like, "Yo, can I take a picture with you?"
Yeah.
Because you look like him. I just want to take a picture with you. I'm like,
man.
Yeah. So,
and that's what I'm here to do. See, I believe I'm called to what I've been able to do so far in my life and career. To not only bring awareness and normalcy, but to debunk the stereotype and the ignorance that has been set in by other people and by our own.
Okay.
By our own.
That makes sense.
Right?
Right.
The Do you guys know who Salif Keita is?
No.
Nah, who's that?
See, y'all don't even know who Salif Keita is.
Well, it's another person with albinism?
He does have albinism.
Oh, now who's that? What does he do?
And Salif Keita is a brother from Mali.
Oh, wow.
Western parts of Africa. And he lived, I think he lives in France now, in Paris, where he lived for a long time in Paris. And he is probably one of the top premier singers and entertainers in Africa and in parts of the world. A lot of places in the world. I mean, anywhere in the world, if you know people that know, jazz or African jazz, right? They know Salif Keita. Okay. And his music is profoundly beautiful.
Okay.
and he is a profoundly beautiful man. When I was about 15, 16, I lived next to a brother named Babu, who was the founder, curator of what they call the Pan African Film Festival. Pan African Film Festival. You've heard of the Pan African Film Festival, right?
Yes.
They go all over the country and all over the world, and they showcase um, black films.
Okay.
I was blessed to live next door to this guy. I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother, she lived next door to. They lived next door to each other, and Babu was always extremely welcoming to me, and always gave me information and tried to steer me in the more positive directions that than I was probably going on my own, growing up in the hood, South Central Los Angeles, right? And he asked me if I knew Salif Keita was, and I told him, no, I don't know who that was. I was who that is. I was 15, 16 at the time,
Right?
And he said, well, he's coming to town, and he's a friend of mine, and I'm gonna get you and your mom some tickets to go see him. And he got us tickets, and me and my mother, who just called me when I walked in here, went to see the brother. Okay. And again, I'm 15, 16, and I didn't know what to expect. I'm only at this point listening to like hip hop, and I liked hard rock too at the time, but I'm listening to hip hop, and I'm trying to get into that world of hip hop, And we go to see him. It was at this theater on Wilshire here in Los Angeles, and oh my God, this brother comes out, and he's dressed in this beautiful regalia, and he got about 30 dancers up there, all dressed equally beautiful and colorful, and they're dancing and singing, and he got his shoes off, and this brother's voice is that of an angel. Okay, that of an angel. It's unbelievable, his voice, and I'm just this kid, man, watching this guy, right? And he got these long blonde braids and these beautiful face, and he's singing. It's just incredible, dancing and playing all kind of instruments and all that, right? And I'm watching this brother, man, and I'm going, who in God's name is this brother? Now, growing up, let me show you something. Growing up from, to 15, 16, the only person, well, there was two that I knew that was in the public that did entertainment or did music, what I wanted to do, was Yellow Man.
The reggae artist.
Right? The reggae artist. You guys know Yellow Man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know him because he inspired Shaggy, who's
right.
Yeah.
Well, he inspired everybody, Yellow Man, to be true. If you know the story of Yellow Man, I'm actually working with Yellow Man and his family to do his biopic.
Oh, wow.
So if you know the story, Yellow Man,
a little bit of everything, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a story that needs to be told. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the script is phenomenal. So anyway, so only person I had known was Yellow Man, right? Because I would be in the supermarket with my grandmother, or at a convenience store or something with my mom or my grandmother, and there would always be a Belizean or someone from Trinidad or Jamaica, of course, right? Who would see me in the store, right? And and I'm a kid now, right? And they'll come up to me and say, you look like Yellow Man, King Yellow. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'd always say, you look like, okay. Yeah. And it's like, well, who is this guy, Yellow Man? And then I found out, right? And then there was this brother who's a brother of mine who I love. His name, I can't believe I'm mentioning him right now, but his brother. In Los Angeles, gang culture is very big, right? The Crips and the Bloods, right?
Yeah.
So there was a brother, right in the era of banging on wax, right? It was an albino brother with albinism named Kiki Loco, who was a part of the the banging on wax movement. But then they had a spinoff record that was enormously big in the city, called True Blue, right? And it was a collective of Crips, and he was like the main dude, right? Wow. One of the main dudes. So everywhere I went to in the hood, people always say, "Oh man, he looked like Kiki Loco." He looked like Kiki Loco, right? And I ended up meeting Kiki Loco, and We look nothing alike, by the way. And
Get that straight.
Yeah, we don't, you know. And then me and him became cool.
Yes.
But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at this guy, Salif Keita, right? And he's speaking in a language I don't understand, right? Because he speaks French. He sings in French.
Oh.
And the native language from Mali. But I think Mali was colonized by the French, so that's how that works, right?
Okay.
And I was mesmerized by him. Watched the whole show. After the show, Babu says, "Hey, I told Salif about you, and I told him you were here, and he wants to meet you. He wants to come backstage." So, I go backstage, and it's all these press and just people and who's who, right?
Yeah.
Are there to see him, and then he sees me, and he grabbed me by my face. He saw me and he grabbed me by my face and pulled me close to him. And he tears up and he's speaking in French now to me. He starts speaking, you know, I don't want to imitate the French, and I don't speak French, but he's speaking in French to me. I don't know what he's saying. And there's a translator there, right? Because he didn't really speak English. And the translator is telling me that he's saying that he feels like he's looking in a mirror, right? And that no matter what anybody says to you, right? Know that you are special. And you being special, you being special comes from God.
Right.
And you can do anything you want to do. You see what I'm doing? What I'm doing is nothing comparative to what you can do. Right? And I'm just listening to him in French and hearing this lady teach me to what. And that was a life-changing moment for me because I, again, never heard of the brother. See? Didn't knew of his existence at all. But he had just sold out this big theater in Los Angeles, California, my home, where I'm from. And he's not even speaking English, right? You understand?
Man, that's
and that immediately changed how I not only saw myself, but I saw my purpose and point in life. So when it came down to me saying, okay, well, I want to be a music executive, or I want to be a rapper, or I want to be an actor, or I want to be a business owner, or I want to write a book, or I want to start a clothing line, or I want to. If not me, then who else? I began to value the fact that when I walk into a room, let's just say a room of black men, right? Let's just say that for a second, because we're all black men,
right? We are.
Right? So when I walk into a room of black men, they all look alike, but not me.
Let's see.
You understand?
That is true.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes. That's powerful right there.
No, when I walk into a room of white men, of Spanish men, of anybody, when I walk into a room,
I look different from everyone else there.
And that is a key indication. Not that I'm better, right?
Different.
Right.
But I am uniquely designed. Let's put it that way. I'm not even going to use the word special.
Yeah.
I am uniquely designed. And the Bible says that you are uniquely and wonderfully made. We all are. But now, if you put us all together, you have to think, well, what was God trying to do on that day? Right. You understand?
Right.
And that empowered me to say, oh, well, I have an advantage. So now when I speak, you're going to listen. Now when I rap, You're gonna listen.
Yeah.
Now when I act, you're gonna look and you're gonna listen. So I better be excellent. See? Because it don't matter if I'm not excellent. If I'm not the flyest, if I'm not the freshest, right? If I don't present myself the best, if I don't smell the best, if I don't, you understand?
Yeah.
And that goes for anybody. But now, me coming into a place where there is light in the midst of the darkness, right? I hold a greater responsibility to exude excellence.
So I take it that you never really had to go through a transition of accepting your albinism. It was something
No,
that
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
See, look, the way you talking, it sounds like you
was always had a grasp on it. You know what I mean?
I think I started to grasp it early.
Okay.
You know, I started to grasp it early. Yeah.
Because, that's one thing that I say to people is that I didn't really have to go through a transition of accepting my albinism because when I was really, really young, my mother used to always teach me and coach me to understand, hey, you're not any different. You're still black. You're still my son. She didn't play that albinism stuff. You know what I mean? For her, it was like, you are my son. You are still normal. So I never had to go through that transition of, do I like my albinism? Do I accept it? I never went through that. For me, instantly, it was like, this is what it is.
See,
so you're saying for you, it was different?
I think, what I'm saying is that I knew early on that I was here for a purpose.
Okay.
See, whether it was, this medium or that other medium. And what I knew is that, and this was early on, and don't get me wrong, I went through all of the things we all go through, the ridicule, the ignorance, right?
So
the
you've
shame.
Been bullied?
Huh?
You've been bullied growing up?
Everybody's bullied growing up.
That's exact. It's so funny. I was talking to my friend, right?
See, don't do that to us. Don't think that we're the only
right, it's
one.
not special.
Yeah.
We're not. We gotta get that. We gotta stop that.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you because I was having a conversation with my friend.
Yeah,
everybody's bullied.
Right. And because I was having this conversation with my friend, and he asked me, he said, are you going to ask him if he's been bullied? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to ask him that. And then he was like, so he's been bullied? I'm like, and my response to that was, I don't know this man personally, but I can tell you everyone's been bullied.
Yeah.
Everyone's been
albinism
bullied.
is not something special in terms of in that category. Like everyone's bullied. Like, and I told the example that I gave him is similar to what you said with the other examples, which is like, you could be super tall and you'll get bullied. People will call you lanky or slinky or whatever. You could be fat or overweight. People will make jokes about that.
Yeah.
You could be, you
can not be the smartest guy.
Right. And get picked up. Everyone gets bullied at some point for something.
Listen to this, brother, that everybody gets bullied. Yes, I've gotten bullied. Yes, I got ignorant slurs thrown at me. Yes, everyone has had that. People with albinism, people without.
Right. Anyone.
And
short,
tall. And the beauty is that what we have to understand is that, and I can't speak for everybody, but I'm going to speak for me, right? I have been bullied, and sometimes I was the bully.
Which can you elaborate on the bullying?
Like you used to bully people for what? Was it a coping mechanism?
No, it's not a coping mechanism. It's a human trait.
I mean,
it's a human construct. Like I've been the guy. Everybody has been the guy that had an advantage over somebody and used it adversely.
Okay,
that's what bullying is, brother.
Right.
Everybody has been the guy who was talking about somebody and you joined in.
Right.
Very true. Okay. Right. Yeah. I had to think back like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, because I think
see
sometimes
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all that it is.
Yeah.
We wanna we wanna see what I did early on. And like you said, your mom said, you just like everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then, in which I believe, right? Because Sidney Poitier, you know who Sidney Poitier is?
Nah.
Sidney Poitier, right? You guys got to look these people up.
Yeah, we do.
Sidney Poitier
So-
is a black man who revolutionized actors of color, black men being accepted in Hollywood. Okay, he has a documentary. You can, if you want to do a crash course on Sidney Poitier on Apple TV, there's a documentary called Sidney.
Okay.
He just passed last year. Sidney did, and huge blow to the African American community in film and television, but more importantly, a huge blow to the community in general. But he lived a powerful life. There would be no Denzel Washington, no Morgan Freeman, no Will Smith, none of the people that you know and love today without him. It would not be single-handedly. He did it. Okay?
Definitely look up that.
Now, how did he do this? In the 1950s, the 60s, the 70s, when we couldn't even drink at a water fountain.
Right.
We couldn't ride on the bus. And this brother was
Segregation.
dark. He wasn't light. It was
That's
dark.
when the segregation and all that was
Right?
in effect. Yeah.
Okay. You know what his mantra was? I do not want to be seen as a black man in Hollywood. I just want to be a man. And he worked his butt off to be respected. It's no secret that he's black. Okay?
Right.
He got skin darker than everything.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no secret to that. But the key is the way he worked, the way he rooted himself in excellence to be the best.
So
The most statuesque, the most, right?
perfectionist.
The perfectionist that he was in all areas of his life.
Yeah.
So that he can not be seen as a black man, but just as a man. You understand? Because that's how he saw himself.
Right.
And how I moved through hip hop, how I moved through film and television, how I moved through life, how I moved through relationships, how I moved through anything, is I'm a man first. Whether I had albinism, whether I was dark, whether I was brown, that's what I am. And staying in focus of the excellence that we as men must uphold, right? If I'm walking in the shoes correctly, all you'll see is the excellence. You won't see anything else.
You speak volumes, man.
You understand?
Yeah.
But that's my responsibility on how I represent myself.
Right.
I can't. Your ignorance is your responsibility.
Right.
That's not my responsibility.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
You do yourself a disservice, not me. And that's how I navigate life. That's how I believe that all men, under the kingdom of God should navigate life of who are we at our very barest root.
Right.
And we're men first. We're black men second. We're black men with albinism third.
Okay.
You understand?
Right.
So we first men.
Yeah. I never laid it down like that, but now that you
Right?
listed it in that order, it just makes sense. You know what I mean?
We're first men,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then black men. Then black men with albinism, because we're not Asian men with albinism.
Right. Right.
See what I'm saying?
So I have to get your take on this too. So what's your perspective on like how people with albinism is always portrayed in like the movies, right? Like the person with albinism always portrays like some kind of weird, obscure kind of character. You know what I mean? It's never a normal role. And then even a lot of times when they do have these people who portray albinism in movies, they're not even real people with albinism. It'd be a white person that they just throw some makeup on, and like they did that in The Matrix. They did that in the movie Powder. So
I hate that movie.
What's your thoughts on that? On how people with albinism always play these very weird or obscure roles?
Again, it's rooted. That's rooted in ignorance.
Yeah.
Right. Which we can't control.
Right.
And I think that if you think about any group that is marginalized, right? Let's think about it in truth. Before, let's go back to the beginning, okay? And because we said we're first men, then we're black men, right? So let's stay there for a second. Okay. When black people were portrayed in Hollywood in the beginning, so you got to do your homework and do your history. When black people were portrayed in the beginning, they were only in roles that were funny, Sambo, Stephen Fetchit,
Slade. Right. Like the dancing, entertainment, right? The Negro for your entertainment.
Exactly. Right? That was the first position that black people had. Now, I know we're used to the stars blockbuster, like I say, Denzel Washington's son is a star now, and like all that. I understand. Right. We're used to all of that now because we grew up in a time when it was cool. Right? The Cosby Show and all of that. Okay, I get it. But how it started, we were Sambo, Stephen Fetchit, the maid, the court jester, the funny guy, right? Now, then that was when they actually let us play the role. Before that, they had something that they call blackface. Are you guys familiar with blackface? When white people would put the makeup on their face. Right. Okay. Right. So let's stick right there for a second. That was the beginning. That's how it started. Everything has a root. You know, they say that I'm sure you've heard the saying, you know a tree by its fruit, right? You've heard that, right? Okay. That's in the Bible. But the truth is, you'll know the tree by its root. Because that's where the tree started.
Got to start somewhere.
Right? So that's how we as black people started in film and television. Weren't favorable roles. Right? Weren't, you know, we weren't the leading guy. That's why I say you got to know about Sidney Poitier, because he was the first. Not until the 50s and 60s. He was the first. Before him, a lady named Hattie McDaniels won the first Oscar Academy Award that a black person ever received. A black woman actually won that. It was a black woman, right? Hattie McDaniels. But you know what she won for being? A maid.
I was just about to say that. She must have been a maid.
A maid. Okay. So what I say to answer your question, brother, is that and those writers and those directors in that time were basing those roles off the ignorance that they held for black people.
Black people, the prejudice thought of how black people are.
So again, we're not going through anything that everybody else has not gone through at some point.
Right.
Latins in Hollywood have gone through it. Asians, I know right now you're seeing a huge surge of Asian stories being told and having notoriety and being, you know, and you're seeing it. But before, you didn't see that
at all.
Right. You didn't see that, brother. Right? Now you're seeing. So everybody goes through this time of having to, what they call, break barriers. Right? And persevere beyond the ignorance of man. Right? And there's some people that sacrifice so that the next don't have to. You understand? That's in all things. So I think that those roles are, to answer your question, are rooted in ignorance.
Yeah.
Right? And they're not being even though I know you said early on in the conversation that you're sure there's a lot of people with albinism trying to but maybe there isn't though. Too, right? Maybe there isn't. So now it might be now and more now, but then again, maybe there isn't. What happens and what's happening now is that people's awareness of the world is changing, right? And there's different storytellers being implemented, meaning writers, directors, producers, who see the world from a more true viewpoint and a more inclusive viewpoint, right? So that's how a brother like me is able to get a job like Black Lightning, where I'm like the key villain still, but the coolest guy on the show.
Damn sure is.
Right? Because
Damn sure
but that has to go to the credit of the Black man who wrote it.
Yeah, and
See,
actually,
the Black man who produced it, the Black man who directed it, that said no.
but I actually respect that, because when I did my research, of course we did tons of research on you and everything.
Yeah.
Before we came here. And I realized that Tobias, based on the comics, before you even come into play, based on the comics, Tobias was a Black man with albinism.
Yeah.
So they picked you, based on that, where it makes sense, right? So it wasn't like they were like, oh, we need a villain, let's just pick an albino guy. Like, no, the character was a Black man with albinism.
Yeah.
And to me that was very shocking, because of course I initially thought, oh, they need a villain, let's pick the albino guy. No, that particular character was a Black man with albinism.
He was a Black man. He is a Black man with albinism. And then what you have to know is that even the powers that be, even still, were going to go get somebody and paint him up.
Yeah.
Right. That never made sense to me when they get like the Matrix, right? There was the two twins in the Matrix that portrayed albinism, the guy in powder, and in both scenarios, they got a white guy and just put the makeup on him.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just cast somebody with albinism?
Because somebody wasn't presented with excellence.
I mean like the casting
yeah,
part.
you
Like,
could-
why couldn't they could put out an ad that says looking for a man with albinism?
No. It don't work like that. Just let me tell you right now. That's not how Hollywood works.
Sorry.
That's not how it works. It's not, oh, let's just put up a thing and then let's just see everybody until we know, brother. This is you have to respect the craft of anything, right? You guys have a podcast, right? So you can't say that oh, anybody can just grab a mic, put up two cameras and talk.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful to the craft.
Right.
You understand? You have to study the craft. You have to watch every podcast, whether it's about albinism or not, whether it's about hip hop or not, whether it's Black, to know it truly and to get all that you can get from the craft. You have to know what everything has been done and what's not being done to make yours unique, different, and special. Okay, so that's just podcasting. When you talk about rapping, you can't just say, oh, you could put anybody in the booth and no. You have to be good.
You definitely can't put anybody in the booth nowadays.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to be good. So if and I don't remember, it's funny, I'm gonna hurt myself with this, but I don't know the Matrix like that.
Right.
So I don't even know who y'all talking about. Now I gotta go watch it.
Yeah.
Right? To be honest.
It was two twins in the first Matrix.
Did they have
it was
lines?
Two twins.
They didn't even.
I think so. Yeah, they had dreads.
Yeah,
but did they have lines?
I don't know. I think so. I think so.
You think they had lines? Okay, I'm gonna go do homework and see if they had lines.
All right.
But regardless of the fact, right? And I'm not saying this facetiously or to be arrogant, right? I get my jobs because I'm good.
You can say that confidently.
I know that I'm good.
Yeah.
You know why I know that I'm good?
Because you've been doing it.
Because I do the work to be good.
Yep.
But for sure, the Black Lightning casting was the albinism, right?
Because brother, listen, brother. Let me. Did you hear what I just said?
A Black man with albinism.
But did you hear what I just said? Yeah. They were going to put a Black man and paint him.
Oh, okay.
So
wait.
Do you watch
I didn't hear
show?
this part. Yes, I did watch this.
Okay. So they just could put. So let me ask you this: the role that I played that you watched,
right?
They could have put any Black man with albinism in there.
No.
What? Not anyone. No. It would for sure have to be somebody who was good at acting.
That fits that role.
that can carry
that can carry that energy
role for 5 years.
That's true. So
you can't see you
like I couldn't see Brother Ali doing it. I'll say that.
You know why? Because he's not a black man.
Right.
He's not an actor.
Right.
Now, could he train and work and become that?
Yeah.
If he did the work.
See, I didn't know that they were actually going to get somebody and just paint them.
They were going to do whatever they needed to do to make sure that it was good.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's not. Listen, it's not a thing of we'll just get anybody.
Well, how did they come into you with that opportunity?
After a long search, and seeing a lot of people, a lot of black men with albinism, and none of them were good, obviously, right? And finally going, no, we can just get a brother who's good, and paint him up every day because they got endless money, brother. They can do what they want to do,
right?
You understand?
No.
But the director, thank God, and the writer and producer of the show named Salim Akil, he said, no, there's got to be an actor who's, and luckily I had done some work prior to
I was
that.
just about to ask you that. Right. I was like, well,
I had done some acting prior to that show, of course. And they did some homework. They saw that I acted. They saw that my music career, and watched some of my interviews and saw like, wait a minute, okay, this guy acts. He's a known artist already. Let's give him a shot. And by that time, luckily, I had already kind of started transitioning out of music a little bit and taking acting more seriously. And again, like I say in the beginning of our conversation, I told you anything that I do, I root it in excellence, brother. Right. That's the component that you can never negate, right? And you don't ever want to, be a disservice to yourself, right? By just saying, well, or you always want to stand up for the sake of excellence, because I'm a man first, a black man second, and I'm a black man with albinism third. You understand? So when they brought me the opportunity, I did my homework. I saw what kind of role this was. I saw how big of a role it could be. And I didn't play. I didn't give them any reason but to say, yes, that's the guy we've been freaking looking for. Right?
I like that.
And when they gave me the job, it was life-changing for me. And I knew that the purpose wasn't just for me. It was for you too. And for you. You understand? Because now when you say, oh, how come they put all the, and why is the now people see you and they say, you look like the guy on, can I take a picture with you?
Yeah.
Out of respect and reverence, because they know that brother, that black man with albinism was the coolest cat on that show.
Right.
So now the one that was ignorant, male or female, has to see it different. He was the flyest. He had the flyest cribs. He wore the flyest suits. He drove the flyest cars. Right? I know that we've heard that man looks on the outside, but God looks at the heart.
Right. Yeah.
You've heard that,
yes.
Right? I'm sure you've heard that.
Yes.
Never negate the first part.
Man looks on the outside?
Never negate that. Never negate that. Never negate the fact that, yes, God looks on the heart, but man looks on the outside. So, to have favor with man, you got favor with God because of your heart. Right. But with favor with man, always remember what they're looking at. So I knew If you know about the comic book character Tobias Well, he was a big old cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big
Right?
guy.
Yeah, mean guy.
I told him, I said, no, this guy's me and the producer, we talked about it. I said, no, we're gonna make him, and he said together, he's like, nah, I know how that guy is. No, we're gonna make this guy the flyest guy. He's gonna be the GQ version of that. We're gonna change how this whole thing is seen. And all I had to do as an actor, not as a black man with albinism, as an actor, be the best on the freaking show for what my role was. That's acting. Has nothing to do with my look. You understand? That character is believable because of the way I acted.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the way that I looked.
Word.
Not the way that I looked.
Right.
The way I held that position, the way I played that role, the way I delivered those lines, the way I looked in those suits, that made the women fall. You understand?
And definitely.
Right.
The way I use my voice.
Yeah.
The way, see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Charisma
so
of
being
that
The
guy.
charisma of it is what I'm saying, brother. You understand?
yeah, like
definitely.
you carried the energy in that role. You really did, and as I was watching like clips from Black Lightning and stuff like that, I saw that like you always embodied that character. You know? There was a lot of fight scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
You did a lot of fight scenes, and it was always enjoyable to watch them because and then you even had that look, like that mean, menacing
that serious,
look.
like
Right,
not
you
playing,
know?
like
Yeah.
what I say is
I
what I
wasn't
meant.
playing.
Like,
I
yeah,
wasn't playing.
I know. Like,
So now being a celebrity with albinism, do you find that it becomes harder or easier for people to notice that it's you?
To notice that it's me, and in what way? What do you mean?
So, I see. I feel like I ain't phrased that question the right way. So, put it this way,
we're
right?
just talking.
Like if I see Nas, right? Well, let me not say Nas. Let me say like, let's say, okay, let's use Nas for example.
Yeah, I love
You.
Nas.
You might say to yourself, hey, he kind of looks like Nas, but I'm not sure if that's him or not. You know what I mean? For you, I guess the way to answer this question would be like, which one do you have more of? The people that come to you and say, "Oh my God, you're Krondon," or the people that say, "Yo, you look like Krondon"?
I
Which one do you
I get both. I get a lot of people who know exactly who I am with the hat on, glasses, and all of that,
right,
brother. You know what I'm saying? And my characters that I play on TV are bald head, you know, and beard out, no glasses. So I look like this, and they know who I am because energy doesn't lie. You understand? Like I say, even you get recognized as me. You see what I'm saying? So energy doesn't lie. Like that's the thing. And then I get some people, and everybody does that. You know, I think a lot of times, you know, when that happens, it has nothing to do again with albinism. It has to do with people who are so into something that they can't believe they're standing in front of it.
right.
See what I'm saying? So they go, "You look like," and as soon as I open my mouth, they go,
Yeah, because they know
that
the
is
voice is
you,
distinct. Yeah, because your
You know what I'm
voice is
saying?
too distinct.
And then sometimes though, if I'm somewhere, I love this. Sometimes people say, "Hey man, you look like that guy, man, from that show, man." And I go, I go, you know what? People tell me that all the time.
And do
I
you say
keep
that to
walking.
avoid
You never try to like.
No, I mean, if they get it. No, I don't. You know, no. You know, and sometimes I say, you know, yeah, that's me. Because if I can tell that they are in a state of disbelief and they can't believe it, you know, because I know that what I do as an entertainer makes a lot of people's day if they see me. So if I'm always willing to make your day, you know, but at the same time, I know again that's rooted in people going, man, I can't believe, you know, when you're on TV, man, you know, especially for that length of time, you know, you're in people's houses every week for a long time. It's not like a movie. A movie's an hour and a half, 2 hours. You're talking about 60-something episodes, bro. That's like days worth of watching. You know what I'm saying? So you know, people feel like they know you, you know, and you know, when you have such a distinct look as we have, you know, one, it's not a look that you see every day, which I think is great. and then two, when you add the film and television component to it, it's no matter, like, if I'm walking down the street and I see Al Pacino or Robert De Niro, I'm not gonna believe that it's them. I'm gonna, if they're walking by themselves, I'm gonna be like,
Right.
hey, you look like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of it is people's disbelief, and then I think it's people who don't see people who look like us every day. And then now but okay, in person, but now they've had the opportunity to look at someone with albinism all day on TV, depending on how much they watch and binge watch the show. So it just creates that kind of that excitement that's very spontaneous, and probably for them euphoric. So they really don't know. They're really just genuinely, like when the brother saw you on the bus, he really was geeked.
Right.
And
he really was.
and that's because he's like, wait, if this is him,
I got that.
My day is made.
I think he knew I wasn't you, but
That's
it was
what-
just the
the
fact
only
that
thing
you
that
look
could-
so much like him
Yeah.
that wasn't,
right.
And that's understandable, because like how you bring everything back to, it's not just us, right?
Right.
Because if I saw someone who looked exactly like Jay-Z, I'd probably take a picture with him
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Even if I knew it wasn't Jay-Z, I would be like, yo, you look just like Jay-Z.
Like
People
the
ain't
guy
gonna
on the
believe
internet,
this.
the fake college guy, or like the fake
Oh,
Drake
the
guy.
fake
Like,
Drake, yeah.
And to me, I'm watching it and I'm going, that dude looked like college.
Yeah.
Right.
Or that dude looked like Drake or whatever.
Right.
So it's that God has his way of being funny in that sense of where, we always think, this is like true with relationships. It's something that I'm learning about relationships, because I'm still learning a lot about just relational things all the time, as we should be all the time, growing and progressing in that way. And it's never good to think you're the only one.
Yeah.
That does you a disservice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you think you're the only one that was bullied, or you're the only one that is broken in a way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you're the only, that's a selfish way of thinking. If you think that you're the only one that's hungry, or you're the only one that's lonely, or you're the only one, you do yourself a disservice with that.
Right.
So I don't try to ever think that I'm the only one that's going through this, or I'm the only one that's angry right now, or I'm the only one that's hurting right now. Everybody's hurting. And I say, like, in relation, like, you can think about that in relationships, right? When you think about whoever you're in a relationship with, and you may think that you might be in a state of hurt about something, right? And a lot of times when we're hurt, right, we think we're the only one that's hurting at that time.
Yeah, in that moment.
In that moment. And that's never true. You understand?
I still do that to this day.
We all do
Yeah.
it. See, you see what I'm saying? You see how you said I still, and I had to say, we
You know
all
what I
do
mean?
it.
Right.
So you're not the only one that's doing that.
Very
We
true.
all do it. You know what I'm saying? And that gives us power to be okay with who we are. See, that keeps us from judging or condemning ourselves. You have to know that you're not the only one.
Like, it's funny because your career, like when you first started, how was that you have albinism, you know what I'm saying, and our vision is very poor.
Yeah.
Want to say that. How was that, like, reading your script, or did you have someone read that for you, or how was that?
No, I believed and believe that God has blessed me in a way, because he would always, if you think about it, if I think about it, he would always put people, like this Leaf Cater story I told you, right? Like that was him putting someone in my way. I believe that God always lets you visit what you will one day own. If you are aware and if you are clear, he's going to always let you visit what you will one day own. I believe that he's put things in place for me to understand the journey that I'm going on.
Right.
Salif Keita was one of those things. There's another, but I'll tell you. But I'll answer your question. That no, I use what's in my hand. You know the vision that I have has been enough. I have the opportunity to.
So it's.
Let me ask you something. How do y'all brothers feel when you see somebody completely blind walking with a cane? How do you feel? Now think about this before you answer it.
Okay.
How do you feel?
I'll go first. Yeah. For me personally, I have a very soft spot for seeing people with disabilities. So personally,
me too.
When I see someone with a cane or any disability, instantly I feel kind of like sad inside.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I feel a little sad and I feel sympathetic to their situation. So that's how I feel when I see someone with a cane or someone who's fully blind.
Yeah, sad. It's a moment of, damn, that could be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I instantly, you
empathize
feel, you gotta. I feel pity. I don't know if that's the right word.
No,
not pity, but like, just want to help.
Yeah.
Instantly you just like, all right, what you need? Like, you get out their way or you help them too.
Right.
You know,
so do I. Now, I had an opportunity coming up in school to be around some people and even have friends who were completely blind. And as I felt empathetic for them, sympathetic, I was equally grateful for what I could see.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I had to go, wait a minute. I know they're telling me, because remember, they're telling us this.
Yeah.
They're telling us this. Oh, well, you can't see that well. Oh, you have this kind of vision. Go to the eye doctor. The eye doctor tell you, oh, you can't.
Yeah.
This is somebody telling you.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a man.
Can't do.
What you can't do. Again. Then I see somebody completely blind. And I go, but wait. I actually can see.
Right.
It really depends on who you're looking at.
Right.
You understand? I don't see as well as some people.
Right. But you can't see.
I can see, brother.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you too now. I can tell you everything you got on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The color too.
Yeah.
There's people who can see perfect and are colorblind.
That's a fact.
Yeah. That's a fact. Now, did you ever think okay.
So my point is that I focused on what I had.
Okay, not what you didn't have. Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So to my story, there was this brother named Lehman. Okay, what's his last? I gotta get Lehman's last name. This brother was incredible, G. Okay, Lehman changed my life early on. This is before Salif Keita.
Okay.
I used to go to this summer camp, and I was a kid, and Lee was Lehman's last name. His name was Lehman. Okay, and I used to go to this summer camp. My mom, my grandmother would which at the time I didn't like it because I thought that, and I was young enough to know this. Like, why am I going here?
Yeah.
It was at this place called the Braille Institute.
Right.
You guys know about the Braille
Yes.
Institute? Okay, you know about that, right?
Yeah. New York.
And I said I didn't like it because I felt like, well, why can't I go where everybody else is going?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But I've garnered some great friendships through there, right? And it was a great program, right? And I don't know if it still goes on, but
the Lighthouse, yeah,
right. I don't know if it still goes on, but they still have that. Do they still have that?
So in New York, they do. It's called the they call it the Institute for short.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's like it's like a long phrase. It's like the Institute of the Blind and Visually Impaired or something like that.
Right.
But yes, they do have that. They also have the Lighthouse in New York. So
Okay, right.
Yeah, they still have that.
So and those things were great because they provided resources and they provided information. And they provided safe houses in a lot of ways, right? For kids coming up. So I'm not gonna say I don't hope when I say I didn't like it that put a bad connotation on it. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that for me, I was self-aware enough to know, wait, I can go do whatever.
X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't realize the blessing that came from it, because a lot of blessings came from it. I'm gonna show you one. So I was going there, right? And I had to be like 9 years old or something like that, 10 years old, right? And I one of my best friends in the world I met there ever, a brother named Robert Thompson, and this brother was one of my best friends, my first like real best friend, right? Still my friend. We don't talk as much, but it's still a friend of mine. But anyway, there was a brother named Lehman, right? And remember, because we grew up going to the eye doctor. Everybody goes to the eye doctor, by the way. We're not the only ones that goes to the eye doctor, right? Okay, so we're clear on that, right? And
that's like his message through the whole podcast.
Right.
We are not the only ones.
That's the message. And everybody wears glasses, right? Yours a prescription.
Right.
Yours a prescription, right? Mine a prescription.
All right.
Mine are shades. Yours are nice glasses, guys.
Thank you.
Everybody wears glasses,
Thank you.
Everyone wears glasses. Glasses they make for every face.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Every shape.
Some people wear glasses and they don't even need them.
Yeah.
Right. They just want the look.
They just want the look. So everybody wears glasses. So we're not okay. So Lehman, I was told coming up, like we were told what we can't do. That's all we were told.
Yeah.
You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And I was one, maybe I was just defined in that way, where I always wanted to do everything you said I could not do. Right? Especially if you told me that marginalized me because I couldn't do something. Like who are you? Like who are you talking about?
Who you talking to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing this my whole life coming up, right? You can't do this. You're not. His vision's not good enough to do this, or his vision's not good enough to do that. And I was a smart kid.
Yeah.
And one thing they always told me was I could not drive.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Right?
still telling me that.
Right.
Yeah.
It was telling me that. Right. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't drive? You know, but I was too young to drive anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
But they telling me that when that time comes that I can't, and I believe that. Until I met this brother Lehman. And my mom, all grace to her too. My mom is we lived by USC, University of Southern California, USC, USC, the Trojans. We lived in that neighborhood. And my mom used to see this brother, this black man with albinism driving. And my mom would always, when the doctor would say that, she would always tell me after, she was like, I don't believe that. Because I seen a brother driving, right? And he had albinism and he was fly. My mom would describe the guy. And then one day I seen the brother in the store. I seen him, big buff dude, had a blonde Jerry curl. This is when Jerry curls were in. And I'm dating myself, I know. And I seen the brother and I seen him. Because it was, USC was a small community at that time.
Yeah.
And I seen the brother and he was in the store and I'm like, yeah, this cat was flying. And he walked out and he got in his car. I seen that. But that was that. And I just didn't think nothing of it.
Yeah.
Now I'm at this place for summer school. This brother Lehman comes in. Right? They're like, this guy Lehman used to go here. He's very successful now. I think he was an engineer or something. I forget what Lehman did. He was an engineer and then from being a successful engineer, he turned into a real estate investor or something like that. Something where he made a whole lot of money.
Okay.
Right? Black man with albinism, tall brother, wore glasses, wore fly suits, came in. He had a tall white girl on him. Anybody listening to this, don't hold that against Lehman or none of us. He had a tall white girl with him, beautiful girl, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful woman when he comes in to speak to us. Okay?
Mm.
And he's telling us his story and how he used to go here when he was a kid and don't believe nothing that they tell you. You can do anything. They told me this. They told me that. This was his whole spiel, right? They told me I couldn't drive. And so he gets to the driving part. He's like, they told me I couldn't drive. He says, not only can I drive, but I want you guys all to come outside and see what I drove here in. So he takes us all outside. We're kids now.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
He takes us outside and he got this bad custom Porsche, bro.
Nice.
Like custom Porsche, bro. Like never, like one of them Porsches you see on the racetrack, F Formula One joint, right?
Nice.
No joke.
Nice.
And he stands back and we're all like, whoa, we're kids. We're like, whoa, look at this car, right? And he looks at us and without fail, and not a flinching of his face, says, I built that.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Damn.
And we're like, what?
Right. What do you mean you built that?
Right? He said, you see, it's custom. It's not the normal Porsche. But I built that. I put all this together. I put that together. And I put that together. And blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I built that. He's like, and that's what my hobby is. I build Porsches.
Nice. Wow.
And I'm like you, Dale. I'm like, wow, what? So I'm looking at this guy. And he looks like me. Or I look like him. Right? He got a bad one on his arm. And he's fly and he's successful. And he's driving. Not only is he driving, he's driving a 6-figure Porsche. Not only is he driving the 6-figure Porsche, he built the car.
That don't speak volumes, man.
Okay?
That's inspiration in itself.
Now, I'm 10 years old. I'm 46 now. You hear I'm telling this story?
Yeah.
Right.
Like it happened yesterday.
Still remember this.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So now let me ask you, before we end, I did want to present you with some gifts.
He had like 8 Porsches, by the way. He would come every time. Just let me just say that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't lying. He would come every other week or something just to show us the other car. He had like 8 Porsches, bro. I saw like 8 of his cars, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to Lehman. Because of him, I own 4 cars now.
Oh, look at that.
What was it? So was he a big inspiration for you? Because I know that's another question that Avery wanted to ask.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you.
Who motivated you and inspired you?
I'm motivated by everything.
Okay.
I seen you had a lot of. I seen you had a lot of mentors throughout your career, and I seen that what's his name? He's on the Breakfast Club.
Oh, Charlemagne.
Charlemagne, the guy, is one of your mentors.
Yeah.
How was that? Like,
I've been on the Breakfast Club a few times. You guys should check those interviews out.
Of course we watched that. We watched that before we came.
That's why I said that was your mentor.
No, I just say that because I had went and my first time on the Breakfast Club was it was a huge one of those moments of me letting Envy, because Envy was ignorant. He was one of the ones that did not know.
Oh, really?
Didn't know what albinism was?
No, he didn't.
Oh, wow.
And I was able to not only educate him but debunk whatever he thought it was in his mind.
Okay.
But Charlemagne is my brother. He's one of my mentors. He's a friend of mine. I love him dearly. But I've had so many mentors, brother.
I know.
I really have, because I see and get inspiration from all things. Okay. And I find mentors in people that I am close to and people that I am not close to, people that are alive and people that are no longer with us, right? Anybody can be a mentor if you follow the example of excellence that they set.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Whether you know them or not. Now, there's some people that touch you, and yes, you have the ability to have them in close proximity. I believe that you should have both. You should have mentors that you can call that are in close proximity, and the mentors that are far from you, people that I would consider satellite mentors. Some people that you just can read their books or watch their videos or listen to their messages or whatever, right? But you have to have the vulnerability and the confidence to know that if God let you see somebody move that chair to that side of the room, that means that you can do it. You understand?
Yeah.
Just by seeing it. Right? You guys started this podcast because you saw people do podcasts.
Right.
You guys didn't invent podcasts.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
You saw people doing it. You
Right.
saw, okay,
I
if we
wanted to
get
try
these
that
many
idea.
mics, if we get this, if we do these
broke it
things,
down.
we can do this. Right?
Right.
And it's important to grasp that inspiration from all things that are available to you, because you just never know what's going to be the one.
Right.
See what I'm saying? For you, you know, and when you find it, it's key to be humble enough to take direction. Direction is protection. So you have to be humble enough to say, okay, no, I'm going to listen to that because I'm going to learn something from that.
Right.
I'm going to take something from that because I'm going to learn something from that. I'm going to add that to my tool belt because that's going to help me fix a bolt I've yet to discover. See what I'm saying? Right. And so for me, it's always, bro, I'm finding I get new mentors every week.
I was just about to ask you, like, where, like, the place that you are now in your life, who is your mentor now? Or, you know, what motivates you to be like, you know what? I think I want him to be my mentor.
That's what I say, it's new ones every week. But in truth, you know what motivates me to do that is two things. Their ability to their ability to debunk what the world says about them.
Is that everyone? Is that like for everyone?
That's
like
for everyone. If I tell you any of my mentors, any of them, if I tell you who they are, and I could show you where they were told they can't do something and they did it to the highest level.
Their ability.
Okay. Then two, I'll give you three. Two, they have to have a clear understanding of the God they serve. It doesn't have to be my God, but it has to be a God, right? It has to be God. Whatever you call them, has to be God. There's only one God, but he's called by many names. Right. So they have to have a clear understanding from that. So it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, doesn't matter if they're Muslim, doesn't matter if they're Christian, doesn't matter.
Got it.
But they have to have that relationship.
Okay.
And three, they must be rooted in excellence. And I mean in all things that they do.
All aspects. Wow.
All aspects.
Okay.
The way they present themselves, the way they act, interact.
Talk, they carry themselves, their charisma.
Right? Everything.
Right.
The way they treat people, the way they treat themselves. They have to be rooted in excellence. The way they do their job or the jobs or the crafts or the crafts that they take on, those are the things for me. Those three things. If I see that, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're T.D. Jakes or Wayne Dyer or Sidney Poitier or Prophet Lovey. Now, I just gave you four people. Yeah. Two of them are alive. Two of them are no longer with us. Two of them I can touch. Two of them I've never met.
Wow.
So now I wanted to ask you, right? So before we wrap things up, I wanted to present you with some gifts. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, what is your shirt size?
My shirt size, it ranges from a large to medium, depending on what day it is.
Okay.
but large.
You fit a large comfortably.
I can fit a large comfortably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
whatever you got though, brother. I'll make it.
No, because me and Avery, we were debating on what shirt size you wear. Because of course we got you some Life with Albinism products.
Yeah.
And we were trying to debate on what size to get you. I was like, yo, get him an extra large. And Avery was
XL is cool too. This T-shirt I'm wearing actually is my brand. I got a brand called Casino.
Really?
Oh, that's your brand. I thought that was a brand sponsoring you.
See,
See?
That's your
See?
brand.
See,
I didn't.
you see what I'm
No,
saying?
because listen,
He didn't do his homework.
No. Let me
Listen,
know. He's not that he
listen,
didn't do
you're
his homework.
advertising
He's not
for
that
that.
he didn't do his homework.
No.
But-
I knew about it. I
No,
knew about
you
it.
knew about it. But this is my point: is you think it's one thing,
Right.
That's another.
but it's really another.
Okay.
That's my company.
Okay.
Really?
That's my
I
brand.
thought you would respond. Okay.
Now I gotta,
Okay,
now I
so
Because
gotta
let me-
look up
remember,
some
we
of your
can do all
merchandise.
things.
Okay.
Always remember that. That like y'all got the clothing. You can do it all.
Okay.
Right now, can you do it all well? That remains to be seen. And I'm talking
Right.
about for everybody.
Right. For everybody.
But no, it's not. No, I'm just messing with you, brother. But it's not a brand that sponsors me. It's my
It's
company.
Your brand.
Yeah, it's called
Okay.
Casino. And that stands for cash ain't something I need only.
Oh,
Okay. You know what? We
Right?
definitely
Or
going to
Christ always sees it's not over.
some of
And
your
I should have
merch?
brought y'all some. I might have some in the
I'm
car
about
for
to
y'all.
say,
All
yeah,
right.
I was
So let
like,
me.
If I could suggest something to you,
Yeah,
brothers,
please.
man,
Yeah,
and
always.
this because I thought about this
Mhm,
on your podcast, right?
mhm.
You guys primarily focus on talking to
Finals.
people that have albinism,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
That live with albinism, hence living with albinism.
Yes.
podcast, right? I would be interested
Mhm.
in hearing you guys just speak to who you want to speak to,
Yo.
because you are already living with albinism,
Yeah. But
and it will be a service to the world
mhm.
if you spoke to who you wanted to speak to and share with them some of the things that you guys deal with living with albinism. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to stop doing what you're doing, your
just-
format.
yeah.
But I think that the platform that you guys are building
Mhm.
is for a greater purpose. And you guys being who you are in the space
Mhm.
is the greater purpose. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the bigger you are,
But
the
we ain't
more
even-
awareness to albinism there will be.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what we was trying to do was honestly like build on this platform until we make a dent in the knowledge of having albinism and
Yeah.
where it comes from and we really want people to really grasp the concept of
Yes. Yeah.
having albinism. And then after that, because other people has offered like, yo, can I just be on your show? I just want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Just knowing that I know someone with albinism or how
Yes, brother.
and I so
because everybody got somebody in their family.
Yeah.
Like we know that everybody got an albino cousin. Or
but
an
then we
albino
don't know
uncle.
like there's that people that don't know about albinism. You know what I'm saying? That want to be on the show to ask us questions on it. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But we
And
like
just have conversation.
yeah.
And because see what I'm saying is what I don't ever want you guys to do, what I don't want to do for myself
Mhm. Stay in that.
is to be limited
Yeah.
Okay.
in what my impact could be. Because we're here in this life to make impact. God made us unique to make an impact.
Definitely.
You understand? And we don't make an impact staying in our circle.
Yeah.
We don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't.
Go
We
outside the box.
we make impact by touching
venturing somewhere else.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's what I'm saying. It's just a suggestion that that you guys are who you are. You guys are building a platform, right? That's very unique in its sense. You know why it's unique? Not because of the topic, because of you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's unique in itself.
Okay.
Purely. You understand?
Yeah.
And then you tell the story and the narrative you're able to share with. You know what I'm saying? When people ask me to come on the show, they say, well, I don't have albinism.
Mm-hmm.
No, but we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
That's why it's life with albinism, because it's our life. We're living our life.
Yeah. Okay.
And you guys have interests, I can tell, that supersede the narrow understanding of what albinism is. And that narrow understanding becomes broader the more people you touch.
Absolutely. Now, Red, man, so, just as an appreciation, we had to bring you some gifts, man. So we got the shirts here, we got the white and the black.
Nice.
So me thinking that you were an extra large, I got the black one for you, an extra large.
That's perfect.
Okay.
So we're golfing.
There you go. You golf?
Huh?
You golf?
I do. I'm starting to golf.
My brother as well.
And
Shout out to you,
we
Manny.
also have this for you as
What is this? This is fly, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
That's our
That's
company,
our logo.
That's our logo.
Yeah.
Life with
own it.
albinism.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
And we also have this gift for you.
Okay, what is this, brother?
Check it out, man. I don't know.
Wow.
$1 million Rolex.
Wow. Thank you, brother.
Oh man.
That's so nice. Wow.
Yeah, man. That's the company logo, and
that's dope, man.
Something we built from the ground up. We're just very proud of it.
I love it.
We did everything. We didn't just
keychain as well.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and then inside is actually
sick,
a keychain.
bro.
Yeah.
This is so sick.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother.
We just really appreciate you, man.
No, I appreciate you guys making this trip, man, to have this conversation with me, brother.
Definitely.
I hope I was able to impart some things.
You definitely stole knowledge on me and definitely opened my eyes to a lot more. You know what I mean? So
Good,
I definitely appreciate that.
Good, man.
Like I say, your words hold power, and that, like when you speak, I feel that. You know what I'm saying? And I very much appreciate it. Now you got me trying to open my mind to other things now, you know what I'm saying? And outbranch to other things. And
brother. Good.
I appreciate that.
That's why I'm here, brother. That's exactly why I'm here. This is super dope, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
And and the last thing I'll say is this, is that we really took the time to create this business. Me and I don't think I told you this yet, but me and Avery are actually cousins.
Yeah.
So we're actually blood related.
It's my first cousin.
So,
it's my first cousin on my mom's side.
So this ain't by mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember I remember we came up with the idea for this podcast, and it started as just a podcast I did in my basement apartment in my living room. And it grew and grew and grew. It started off with us just throwing on the camera, just talking about albinism.
Right.
And then we realized we were inspiring and encouraging people around the world.
Reaching out to us.
To this day, I get messages from people in New Zealand, people in Australia, people in Nigeria, telling me I didn't have confidence until you told me I should be confident in my skin.
Amen.
And that's what made us start to grow it into a business and make it a company, and then getting a logo, and then getting the LLC, and then owning the business name, and even down to now the trademark. Like I actually trademarked the phrase "life with albinism."
Nice.
That sentence,
that's very smart.
I own that sentence.
Now,
so can't nobody do nothing just to work with the phrase "life with albinism," unless you want to cut me a check.
Right.
And we did that because this is what we developed. This is what we came up with. Even that phrase, we came up with the phrase as the name for our podcast, "Life with Albinism." You know what I mean? And, so we have
give it to the world, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Give that. You guys own it. That's beautiful. Give it to the world, man, because it's y'all's life. It's my life too. It's everybody with albinism's life, right? And the like I say, the service that we can bring to the world, brother, is allowing them a sneak peek into our life. And what you'll find is because that's why I said I had my suggestion is because what you want to do is show the similarities.
Okay. Yeah.
That we all go through the same thing.
Same thing, no matter what shade or
no matter what shade, no matter what race, no matter what level of vision, no matter what experience, we all go through the same thing. And I think that'll be helpful for the people that you bring on, as well as you guys. You know what I'm saying? And everybody watching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I really do. I
have a question for you.
Yeah.
You drive, right?
Yeah.
And like, all right, so when because I've always wanted to get my driver's license, you know what I'm saying? I never took the test just because I'm doubtful of myself because I live in New York, and as you know,
I would never drive in New York.
I was about to say that. I was about to say because as you know, New York has their own
Yeah. And I just wouldn't drive. I don't care
style.
who. That has nothing to do with anything but just knowing New York. I wouldn't drive.
Right.
Well,
New York is crazy.
But yeah, was it hard doing the driver's test? Like how many did you take it a few times to like fail?
No, I didn't take it. I didn't take the. I mean, I might have failed the written test once or something like that.
Yeah.
The actual driving test, no, brother. What I did was, I everything is done in steps, right?
Yeah.
Everything in life.
Uh-huh.
So think about that. The steps that you take. Actually, I'm writing a book. We didn't get to talk about my book, but I'm writing a book.
I've been to mention that too.
Plug that in.
I have a book that it's almost done. That's why I probably didn't talk about it because it's almost done.
Okay.
And I don't want to talk about it more until it's done. But
but
no, it's called The Domino Effect, and it's pretty much my journey with coming to a understanding of not knowing to knowing, and in the terms of my relationship with God, and the trials and tribulations that I incurred and endured, and how the pendulum can swing from one side to the next based off the choices that we make and the choices that I made. So it's very introspective in that way. I talk a little bit about something, my beginnings of driving, but what I would say is take the steps. Be honest with yourself. Be realistic. And then take the steps. Go take a car into someone that you trust or that trusts you too.
Yeah, to drive there. Yeah.
But be in a empty parking lot.
That's
Don't
what,
just
that's
jump
what
on
I
the
started.
road.
Yeah,
right.
That's
Don't
exactly
jump
what
on
I
the
started.
road.
Yeah, that's what I started.
Be in an empty parking lot. Know how a car works. Know how it functions. Know, what happened if you press the gas too hard, and what happens if you slam on the brakes, and how to easily slow down and be realistic. Don't think that everyone driving can see better than you. First of all, don't think that, because there's a lot of people who are driving who can't see anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or have the exact same level of vision. Think about this. The one thing about vision you got to know is, as everybody as they get older, it deteriorates anyway.
Yeah.
Right, much like any hearing or any the body, the way it's made, right?
Slowly start shutting
So
down.
we started a deficit at an earlier age, of course, than some, but everybody goes through it. You know people who at one time never needed glasses now cannot live without them, right? So and now with technology and the advances of Western medicine and just technology in general, they got so many ways. Like I was told at one time that I couldn't wear contacts my whole life, right? Have you guys ever been told that?
Yep.
Yeah,
I've been told that as a kid.
Yeah.
I wear contacts now, bro. Contacts for astigmatism. They're great. They're a pain. You wear contacts too?
Yeah, I wear contacts, and the thing I love about them is
they're a pain to take on and off.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
But that's for everybody. They're a pain.
Blood vessel in my eye. Taking a contact.
You gotta be careful.
His nails too long.
Yeah.
My nails was like a little bit too long that
you
time.
You can't do that. You gotta make sure that your nails are straight.
Have you ever like
don't do that?
Listen, I do it on
that's
purpose.
for anybody.
Yeah, that's for anybody.
Have you ever like slept in your contacts though, and like woke up and it was like irritated, or you just forgot?
And that's what I'm saying. You just contacts are contacts.
Yeah.
Anybody that has contacts has popped blood vessels, slept in them and they irritated, lost one, had one in for long, and thought they had taken that out, but it was still in.
Yeah.
Like everybody, this is just a normal part of having contacts, but they come in handy. It's great for us too with astigmatism because with glasses, the astigmatism still is in play.
Yeah.
But with contacts, you got to think it's on your whole eye, so it's a little better in that sense.
Okay.
I've actually noticed a difference when I wear them.
Okay.
But my point is to that the whole contact thing is that at one time they told us we couldn't wear contacts.
Yeah.
There wasn't a contact for us and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So now technology and time has changed that. Like I say, you want to take the steps, brother. Drive a car first. You know what I'm saying? With no one around, just in an
empty
parking lot. See what you can see. See what you That'll tell you a lot.
Okay.
Just by doing that, right? And then you want to just become comfortable behind the wheel. You know, and then I personally went to driving school. Like I went to a real driving school, right? And had an instructor and taught me how to drive and taught me things and was in the car with me. And they back then, this was years ago, but back then they had a steering wheel on one side and a steering wheel on the other side.
Yeah.
So he do they still do that?
Yeah.
I think they
for the instructor car.
For the instructor, right?
Yeah.
So the instructor, in case you mess up, the instructor take over, right? And you just want to take, invest in that if that's what you really want to do.
Okay.
Invest in that, right? Then they came up with different forms and versions of monoculars, right? You know what monoculars are?
Monoculars. Yeah, the little tiny thing.
Yeah, and they have them now. They have them now that are so small that you can't even see that they're on the ground. They're like little
like a little
thing. They have them big ones and they have little ones too, right?
And you do the eye test.
To do your eye test, right? But you don't have to wear them every day when you drive. You do it to pass the test.
Yeah.
But once you learn how to drive, you know how to drive.
Yes.
And you can, and if as long as your distance and your ratio and all of that.
I hear like driving is like riding a bike. I don't know why that comparison is, but people who
It is.
Is that true? Okay, I'm about to say that.
It's a modus of repetition, and once you learn that, don't worry about reading every sign.
Okay.
As long as you can see the red and the green,
yeah, you're
right?
Good. All right.
Don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying?
How was that like on highways and stuff like that? Like,
took a while to get, and that only took a while. It takes everybody a while. I say that because I have,
reading the GPS.
I know grandmothers that don't drive freeways. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be comfortable with that level of speed and reflex, because that's what freeways are about. They're not even about seeing it. There's no lights or nothing on there.
Yeah, it's just
you got to know where you're going.
Yeah.
Speed and reflex. Okay. That comes over time. Okay. Right? And everybody struggles with, in the beginning, the freeway, because it's such speed and reflex. So the more you do it, for years when I first started driving, I'll be honest, I first started driving, I didn't even get on the freeway when I think about it. I would take the streets everywhere. And then
local streets.
Yeah, and then you get that comfortability where you're like, okay, boom, and something one day you wake up and you want to go fast. You're like, what, I want to go fast, so I'm about to get on this freeway. And again, it's speed and reflex. There's something else I want to share. This is in my book. I want to share with you guys. Be safe, right? But don't be afraid of having accidents. You know why?
Why?
Because everybody has accidents.
Everyone gets in that. It goes back to the same moral.
They want you to believe, and you want to believe, that if you get in an accident, it's because you have albinism. No. Everyone has an accident that drives. There's not a driver living today that has not had an accident, whether their fault or somebody else's. It's a part of driving. It's like when you walk. When you first learned walking, you would have never learned how to walk if you didn't fall down. You would have never learned it. You'd still be crawling.
So back to your book. How many books you have? Just one?
No, I'm writing one book. I have a book, just one that I'm writing. Okay. Yeah. It's almost done.
Okay, and it's called The Domino Effect.
The Domino Effect.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna get a copy of that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, man, this has been a beyond great experience. I'm very humble to have this opportunity.
Very much so.
I'm glad to have guests like you, and I hope that in the near future we can have more high-profile guests.
It will come
with albinism who also have, large influences and things like that.
Have you guys talked to Deandra Forrest yet?
As a matter of fact, we want to get her on the show next.
Get her on, man. I mean,
you know her?
I do know her. Yeah, and
you've met her before.
I've met her before. Yeah, I just know her through the industry.
Right.
We have some of the same friends too. I think she's beautiful, beyond words, inside and out, and I think that she'll agree with a lot of things that I'm saying. I don't think that you get to where you are and where she is without knowing that nobody can tell you no, and but you're the only one that can tell you no, and you believe it, right? And I only say her. I mean, there's a lot. I would think that you can talk to, brother, and you should talk to. But also I would say, you guys being in New York, you have access to so many people, brother. Reach out to them.
I feel like a huge cluster of people with albinism is in New York City.
Yeah, you know what?
There's just so many
we didn't
people
really
in
see too many albinos when we first started this. We didn't know where to get our guests from.
Right.
But slowly but surely, there's a whole entourage of us in New York now. You know what I mean? Some down the block from us.
Now we get people that hit us up all the time, like, yo, can I be on your next show? Like, one thing I love is that and we're gonna end with this last.
Did you guys interview oh my gosh. We'll talk off camera.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last question, and then we'll end it with this. Have you been to any albinism conferences or events, and would you be willing to in the future?
I haven't, man. I've worked with some organizations. Under the Same Sun. Do you know about Under the Same Sun?
Mm-hmm.
I worked with them closely, and I did an event for them, but it was virtual.
Okay.
But I've worked with them pretty closely. They do some incredible work worldwide in Africa and Tanzania. Okay. I've worked with it's a pastor in Detroit named Keenan Knox. Do you know who Pastor Keenan Knox is?
No.
You want to talk to Keenan too? It's funny because I'm gonna be honest. When you guys hit me up, I thought it was through Keenan. That's why I was so quick. Not like I wouldn't have said yes, but I was so quick because no seriously because the pastor is like my brother. We call each other twin, and we don't look alike. But we're twins though. We're all twins in that sense, right? And this brother has a huge church. It's a pastor. Okay. It's my brother. Got a huge church in Detroit. Look him up. Keenan Knox. Remember I told you. Right. And he's a fly cat and successful preacher. And he don't have a church full of people with albinism.
Wow.
But you see what I'm saying there, man? Not that I'm just saying that he preaches to everybody.
Everyone. Right.
He has albinism.
Okay.
But he preaches to everyone.
Keenan Knox. Right?
Keenan Knox.
We're gonna look him up.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So we've done some things together. And we'll always do things together. That's my brother. But I haven't, and not, it's one of them things, if I get invited, then I'll consider it. And if I got the time, then I'll come. But I know, my purpose, guys, I do know is to spread awareness through my art, and as well as debunk the myths and stereotypes of it. Like I am about that. Yeah. Like I am solely about that. That's why I if you hear my conversation and when I talk about somebody like Sidney Poitier or when I talk about the development of Black people in Hollywood or in anything, I go from the root because I know where I'm at this stage in my life and in my career is to, break down every door in Hollywood for people that look like us. Yeah. And in music as well. But the door's been broken so many times in so many different ways of music, to be honest. Right. It's just about are you rooted in excellence? You know what I'm saying? Right. Brother Ali is one of the best at what he does. I at a time when I was taking it full time, when I was doing it full time, was the best at what I did musically. You understand?
Hold on. Because we actually got it. We actually got to end this.
You're right. Okay. But my point is just being the best. Yeah. Right? So by doing that, in film and television right now, I'm focused on being the best actor, not the best actor with albinism, but the best actor. Period. And the fact that I have albinism and I'm a Black man with albinism will hopefully, one, be seen as a gift, a unique gift, and open the doors up for other actors who look like me, who are actually really good. So I'm really focused on that.
Okay. Great. Definitely.
All right, man. Amazing episode.
Yes.
Everyone, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
Check out lifewithalbinism.com. We will make sure we update the site with all our new merch and everything that we got available.
Yeah,
so if you want a shirt like this, if you want a keychain, the coffee mug, whatever it is that you want, you'll be
great
able
golf
to
shirt.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
you.
All right,
I know it's
man.
probably not
It's been a
intended for
pleasure,
that.
man.
Hey, pleasure, Dale, man. Thank you,
Definitely.
Thank you, brother, so much.
Always,
Thank you
man.
so much.